16,000. So we have to get more boots on the ground. That was the first thing. Again, we have to get more boots on the ground. The police was not equipped to do the job that we want them to do. They were not equipped. They did not have vehicle. You would call a police station and you say they don't have no vehicle. If they have vehicle, sometimes they run out of gas. Policeman used to have to go in and then one pocket and buy a tire put on police car.
What you say?
Police officers would go into their own pockets while on duty and buy tire put on police car. I don't know who remember.
I wonder if there's any policeman listening to
drive past the tire shop, the man see police car. Used to drive past the tire shop, the man see police car, they pan jack. Remember? Used to drive past the police car, the man see police, they pan jack. A fixed tire. Used to be policeman. So the Jamaica Labour Party has now, we staff the police force, more boots on the ground. We staff the military. The military moved from just over 4,000 to over 8,000, heading to 9,000 now. So there are more boots on the ground, both in the military and in the JCF. We gave the police over 2,000 vehicles since coming to office, 2,000, and has set a standard. And has set a standard that the police force must never have less than 1,600 working vehicles at no time. So there is a standard now. There's a standard now that says the JCF must have less than 1,600 working vehicles at any
what you are saying to me, Mr. Finley, is that policy matters.
Policy matters.
And that it is the policy of the government, really, that has driven down the crime.
It has, drastically. Right? Another thing, neighbor, think of the size of Jamaica water. When we took over in 2016, the Coast Guard had one mid-range boat to patrol the entire waters of Jamaica.
Yes.
I remember that time we were grappling with what was called the guns for drugs trade.
You bet.
One single mid-range boat to patrol the entire waters of Jamaica.
So, Mr. Finley, the Prime Minister promised that people would sleep with their window doors open. He's now saying that is an aspiration that he had. It seems possible.
We're heading there, neighbor.
You're heading there.
Indeed heading there. But as I said, now we move from one boat. We move from one boat to the government buy 7 boats, and 2 months ago the government of Japan donated 4. So now we have 11 brand new boats in total to patrol our water. And we also have 22 high-speed boats on order from a company that is being constructed for us. So our water, we take the patrolling of our water seriously. Now, scanning device at our ports. Our ports were left by human beings searching boxes and barrels. Accident. Those were deliberate policies. The force itself is now a professional organization. The force itself is now, and yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of this for an organization before, but the Jamaica Constabulary Force is now ISO 9001 certified. It means that we are certified at the highest international standards of operation. The Jamaica Constabulary Force has attained that certification. ISO, you can look up that qualification, neighbor, and you will see how it is looked at worldwide. ISO 9001.
Yes.
Right.
Well, that is fantastic. So, yes. Mr. Finley, when the opposition spokesman on national security say that the government allowed the murder rate to run up and credits the operation side of the the police for the reduction, you think that is not a good way to look at it?
Neighbor, I take nothing that Peter Bunting say serious. Peter Bunting, as the Minister of National Security, less than 2 years on the job, went on the platform, neighbor, with tears in his eyes, and he repeat these exact words. I'm quoting his exact words. The best efforts of the Jamaica Constabulary Force by themselves will not be able to solve Jamaica's problem. It will take divine intervention. Someone from above needs to touch the hearts of the business community, the church, and everybody to help us. God, in his wisdom, answer Peter Bunting prayer and send Jamaica Andrew Michael Holness. So I take
you know, Chuck, that was him. That was him in his priestlyhood, because I found out that he is a trained priest. So that is him resorting to his priestlyhood, praying to God.
I take nothing that he says serious, neighbor. How is it, neighbor? And listen to me, neighbor, and tell me if this makes sense to you. In the midst of what is today a 44% reduction in murder, and you can go on a platform and speak to the very Jamaicans and say, the Holness administration facilitate the rise in murder during a 44. Neighbor, is that a serious man to listen to?
Well, but Chuck, let me back up where I said it, Chuck. In the history of the world, because I've been searching, I'll know me no buck you up. And let's scrub off this information. In the history of the world, Peter Murcott Bunting is the only national security minister who has ever been robbed. Okay? The only national security minister who have ever been robbed in the history of the world is Peter Murcott Bunting. Peter Bunting.
Wow. Protecting Jamaica, can you tell us this 40% reduction in crime? What is its broad impact on the Jamaican society? What really are you looking at here?
First, let us consider the fact that it is going to take some time before the people start to feel good about the situation, because the Jamaican people has been numbed for so long with high murder rate. Since the
do you have the actual figures there, Mr. Protecting, in terms of the reduction, the numbers? Do you have the numbers?
I think it's about 200 and something now. The numbers are, which is 200 and odd less. I don't have the exact numbers, but
give me a second, neighbor. I'll soon give you the exact number. Just
okay,
right.
Go ahead.
Go and protect neighbor.
Almost 50%. So I think by this time last year, even last year we were experiencing a decline of 19%, 20% up to this time.
What I want you to do, Protecting, is to show us, yes, by your own brilliance, the effect of this on the society, social, economically,
so
the multiplier effect. Yes.
And please, may I beg you stop beating me up, neighbor. Anyway, as I was saying, it's just studying, not brilliance. So there are the wide cross section of Jamaicans. It's gonna take some while. It's gonna take a good little while before they really start to feel and understand what's happening here. But
yes,
the first impact it is going to have is on the psyche of the Jamaican people. The Jamaican people are going to finally come into themselves to realize that we have been experiencing since this year 24 hours, 48 hours without one murder happening.
Neighbor.
Sorry, yes, we have the figures.
Let me give you the numbers, neighbor. This time in 2024, we had experienced 468 murders.
Right.
Today, in 2025, we're at 269.
Wow.
Okay. Right.
Wow.
And that's a significant place to be.
Yes, sir.
So, broader, the impact, as you were saying, economically.
Yes.
As the new Minister Audrey Marks, in her first statement to the Parliament, mentioned that there are 3 multi-trillion-dollar investors knocking on Jamaica's door. One of them before, because one of them is the Harmony Cove in Trelawney Centre, right there. So, and there are 2 others. Now, when you look at this in a neighbor, it is significant because investors, they don't like crime, especially big money investors. And when you have a situation where a very promising economy, the Jamaican economy, the leading economy really in the Caribbean region, you know, but because the other countries, some of them have oil and so on. And we lead the Caribbean primarily because of our people. Our people are trainable. And when they come on to customer, if we train them well, we are the best at it.
Yes.
And a lot of these investors experience this through tourism. But our people are the best. We're very infectious. Everything about Jamaica makes Jamaica that place where people really want to springboard from when they're doing business. No, crime was the single most hindrance in the advancement and the of Jamaica.
I agree with that.
The high crime rate.
Yes, sir. I agree.
Yeah, because of the high crime rate, a lot of investors either left or didn't even bother to have a second thought about investing in Jamaica. And Jamaica is ripe. Jamaica was underdeveloped, you know, neighbor. Was underdeveloped. We had some advances, but we were underdeveloped. And let me highlight something significant.
Yes, sir.
The Prime Minister brilliantly in many of his speeches, every time he speaks, he mentions the fact that the road starts with a road. And so
the Americans learned that quite well.
They learned that from way back.
Yes.
And so the National Infrastructure Development Plan that was written by one Edward Seaga between 1963 to 1967, that was left at the UDC and dust did a get upon it. The same plan that Patterson revisited when he built Highway 2000, when Seaga was arguing with him and telling him that don't make it a road because the original plan that I left there was a bypass without a toll. But because PJ Patterson did not grow the economy and they had no funding, the deal that they had to make with Boeing from France is that them bring their money, build the toll so they could collect back their money. And they accepted that deal. We know what happened after that. Andrew Holness not coming there. And the first segment of the offering, Trans-Jamaica Highway and the stock market, some of that money was used to pay off the 50 loan there with PJ Patterson. They got signed. But the broader point I want to make, the Prime Minister is not just madly building highways, roads left, right, and center because him not no sense. The road to development start with a road. Investors are not going to come in. All right, we think we're going down to Trelawney now to build a mega factory bigger than the one where them have out of Portmore there. So if Wisynco does not have proper roads to do distribution in the regions of the country that they need to do distribution, that's a loss that will
By the way, I need to respond to something. There was a listener who's saying that the figures quoted were doctored, the crime figures. What a low statement in protecting.
Yeah, man, but it's a PMP, so why you want to respond? PMP.
Yeah, I am literally on the JCF website right now. Let me open my camera. That the figures are on the Jamaica Constabulary Force website. Let me just do that.
You really think you have to do that, Chuck? Because Peter Murcutt Bunting was one in this public, and his argument that the figures are doctored, and the police had to come out and say, but at the same way we collect the data for the past.
Here it is. It's the Jamaica Constabulary Force website, crime statistic. Well, let me scroll down. There's the numbers. It is breakdown by division, and there are the total numbers.
Of course.
Wow.
Last year compared to this
My
year.
goodness. But these are bodies, Joe.
These are bodies that would have lied on the ground. These would be holes out by Dovecat and Meadows.
Yes, sir.
Right?
The PMP don't care.
199 fewer murders this year so far. 199.
They don't care
These
neither.
are bodies.
And
It's
going
just
down.
numbers for them.
Those numbers for them.
What you saying to me?
Peter Mercat Bunting. And one more thing, the neighbor, if you notice, you know, Peter Bunting does not speak on the crime portfolio any longer, you know. He's now speaking on the environment of Dennis Strong. He speaks on agriculture, security. There's nothing to talk about.
Yes. Yes. I have to move on. Protecting Jamaica. The thing that is of significance, I think, is that you've not only reduced the whole matter of crime, but poverty. Poverty is now at 8.2%.
The lowest in our history.
Yes, Mr. Finley, what is it saying of a government that is able to be doing these things at the same time, reducing crime and at the same time reducing poverty? It speaks to a management, a leadership that in my view is understands the issues that the country face and is doing something about it.
Neighbor, some people may know Andrew Holness as Prime Minister, but recently, what's his name? That the Member of Parliament in Robert Miller. Robert Miller would have gave a speech in the Parliament where he spoke of the days when him and Andrew was going to primary school, and they would have spoken back then about their plans and how they want to serve Jamaica and what they want to see for Jamaica. After that, Nigel would have given a speech and speak of a young Andrew Holness just joined politics, and they used to have a meeting and they used to discuss the plans he have for Jamaica if he should get leadership of this country. What we're seeing from Andrew Holness, it is not by choice, it is not by accident. It is a vision for him of the kind of Jamaica that he wants. Remember, neighbor, and I'll put this to you now, every single person that have led the People's National Party have housed in a different country other than Jamaica. It says PJ Abemosa, France, Portia in Florida, Mark Gold in England. Andrew Holness built him house right here in Jamaica. His retirement plan is Jamaica. His children are right here in Jamaica.
Yeah, quite true. Finley, the Prime Minister was in Trelawney yesterday. A video came out of Trelawney with an elderly lady breaking down because she received a house. You know, she had given up. The Prime Minister was able to do that. I am looking seriously at this social housing program. Do you know how many houses have been given out under the social housing program?
I have asked someone to check the figure for me this morning to give you an exact figure. They haven't gotten back to me yet, but I know it is close to, we are close to 400 now, if we haven't gone over the 400 mark yet.
Yes. Mr. Finley, this program, this social housing program, to me, is one of the most impactful programs by any prime minister in Jamaica. And I will tell you what. Do you agree with me, by the way?
I totally agree with you.
Yes. When a person gets up, you know, Adam Smith speaks about the poverty.
Neighbor, somebody said they have gone over 500 already.
No, you know, sir. When a person gets a house, a concrete structure with ceramic tiles, a flush toilet, a kitchen, in everything included, coming out of a situation where you probably live on a dirt floor, it must do something for your esteem, Mr. Finley.
Yeah, but I won't even speak of the effects on the adult. But look at it this way. Think of it, a child used to have a little board house where the kitchen they down there, on the bathroom they down on the room they right there, so and they have to get ready in that condition and leave out to go to school in the morning. Think of what that does to that child when they have to go to school and the other people them come out of them car and they have to walk barefoot because they know so they don't live nowhere. You can't invite a friend over one evening to come enjoy themselves.
I'm going to say something here, Mr. Finley. You know, I'm going to challenge this poverty figure of 0.2%. You know, I don't think it is correct, sir. I don't think we have.
I would agree with you, neighbor.
Yes, sir.
I agree it's not correct.
Yeah?
I agree with you, it's not correct.
Because when you look at
I believe it is lower.
I believe it is much lower. I believe it is much lower.
You're right. You're right, neighbor. That's a number.
Because that figure does not include 2024, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, 2023, that neighbor.
Go ahead, protect me. I am number these things. And I think it is much lower than that. Because we are almost at full employment in Jamaica, you know, sir.
Right.
In other words, if you're not working, it's because you don't want to work.
Yeah, but in 2016, our unemployment was 13. What was it? Almost 13%.
Yeah, 12.8 something or 12.3
yes,
something.
Almost 13. Today we are at 3.5. Neighbor.
Yes.
And this is. Yesterday I was having a conversation with a young man named Triple X. And he was telling me that him busy because of three jobs him do the night before. I mean, I say, you're lucky to believe in a Jamaica where you can find 3 jobs. Right? But he's seeing the fact that he has to do 3 jobs as the problem.
Yes.
Not the fact that he can actually find 3. Neighbor.
Yes.
Jamaica, neighbor, is transitioning to the place, as them say, to work, raise a family, do business.
Yes.
Well, on the neighbor before you move from the poverty rate.
Yes, sir.
As Chuck was saying, because I ended up joining the conversation, but I didn't get to talk to Triple X. There was a point that I wanted to make, and I wanted to ask him. Because he is a DJ, but he also have businesses. And I wanted to make sure that the people who were listening, the people who joined to learn something, understand that he chooses to have 3 jobs. He chose to do the 3 events for the night. And he also chose to set up the businesses that he has. And that's the situation sometimes when we have these conversations. We don't try to relate these situations in a way so that people can understand that there are choices that you have. Jamaica has reached the point now where no longer the person in the United States is the only people talking about, oh, a 2 job me have, you know. If you need 2 jobs in a Jamaica now, you can have it. There are people in Jamaica now working 2 jobs. There are people who leave them regular 9 to 5, 5 o'clock, and go to the call center 6 o'clock. And I never even know that some call center was paying the level of wage that they're paying. You have people in the call center working 30,000 a week, 40,000 a week, depending on which call center. And
protecting. What I want us to do, protecting, and
yes,
neighbor wants us to do this. What we have today in Jamaica is not call center. There is a difference, and I think most people are making that mistake. We have BPOs, business outsourcing. Right? Call center, neighbor.
Call center.
Call center was something we have in the 90s that deals with telemarketing, where you go to work and you take up the phone, you dial some number, you try to sell them something. If the people have hung up their phone for you, you don't make no money.
Yes.
What we have now are persons that goes to work. They sit at their desk and they engage in customer service.
Yes.
Right.
So they don't make calls, they receive calls. And that's what we have to
companies like
Amazon call center.
I'd love to spend a little bit more time I love to spend a little bit more time on this social program of the government, because I think
hold on, neighbor.
Yes.
Hold on, neighbor. Before, just stick a pin before you move down. Let me further qualify some of what Chuck was saying earlier and what I came in with. 8.2% does not represent the current situation in Jamaica. And I remember we were agreeing that the number is lower because they did the review up until 2023. But let us consider the 8.2%, and with been be about round about what 200,000 people or so.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
We only hear the PMP in the society say nothing go on and them broke and them poor. So if the PMP's base is round about 280 to 320,000 people, I will want to put forward that the 8.2% represents the PMP's base, because them never want to work yet. Them broke, them poor, and them say them must suffer. So the 8.2% is the PMP base. Now, if the PMP get their base, which is the 8.2%, we vote for them, then the Jamaica Labour Party gone clear a road. I just want to qualify that with that 8.2%, 300,000 PMP. Right, so you can move on, neighbor.
Yes, Mr. Finn, and that the government also has what is called a social pension for persons who didn't even contribute to the pension scheme. That's so.
That is so, neighbor. And neighbor, when you mention social pension, you know, I hear there are people on social media who are saying that this government don't care about the poor. Now, for the first time in our history, neighbor, very first time, the government is looking out for persons that did not meet the requirements of the.
There is a single person in Jamaica, sir, who needs assistance that can't get it.
That not a single person, neighbor. Even
whether you have contributed to the NIS, yes or no.
Even the man on the street.
Yes.
Even the man on the street, because the government has built several drop-in centers across the country where the man on the street can go get a shower, get a hot meal, and get a change of clothes. Even the man on the street.
There is not a single person in Jamaica.
This is important, neighbor.
That does not qualify for a pension.
The PMP would have scooped up in a truck and dump in a mud lake.
An unfortunate incident.
Can get
answer my question,
under
sir.
this government.
There is not a single person in this country,
Not one.
whether they would have contributed to the NIS or not, who don't qualify for a pension.
Not a single one, neighbor. Everybody.
And just to add to that, neighbor, if I may,
So Labour Party are gone?
good afternoon to you and your panel, neighbor.
Yes.
But just I felt compelled to join the conversation. Always a very robust and informative conversation. But just I typed that exact thing quote in the chat earlier, where I was saying to you that not a single, and I say that with pride, not one single Jamaican who, irrespective of their socio-economic condition, that should go to their bed hungry at night or go without a shelter. Not one. There's no section of the society that is left out of the prosperity. No section. Absolutely not one. So when I hear people talk about poverty rate and how bad things are, I have to ask the question, because it really doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. And I hear you guys lamenting about the 8%, 8.7% poverty rate, which I agree with most of you here, that I believe wholeheartedly that it is, I would want to say, significantly lower if you were to measure the initiative. Because what these initiatives have done, neighbor and others, it has removed the possibility of hunger or persons without shelter. So Chuck just spoke a while ago to what the Ministry of Local Government has done in terms of building out certain facilities.
Centers.
Right. And that is significant. These things are no joke. It's no joke. So when I hear people talk about, not having certain things, it makes me wonder if we're just simply playing politics But the reality is, Jamaica, neighbor, is in a very good place. We're not first world yet, but I think we are very much on the way to becoming a first world country.
Let me understand you, sir. People
Yes.
who did not contribute to the NIS
Yes, sir.
now qualify for a pension?
Yes, you have the 75 and older who it doesn't matter whether or not you work for government or even work at all. You are eligible to get a monthly pension until the day you leave this earth. But that's not the kicker. Look at the young people now. Watch what segment of young people in Jamaica that doesn't benefit from government initiatives. Tell me one section, one age, one cohort of young people that is not eligible to benefit from something that government is offering. You have right now an initiative out there where 50,000 Jamaicans are slated to benefit from I think it's $20,000 or $25,000 grant to each individual who, it doesn't matter where you work, what you do, how, it doesn't matter. As long as you're not in a formal job, as long as you're one of those persons who say, look, nothing go on, well, there's a plan for you. Because the government...
And chop, these social housing that people are getting, these are valuable structures.
Let me tell you, I have very intimate knowledge of those. I am right now in the process. I just went through to look at 4 in East Central St. James. 4 houses constructed. No, just few minutes ago, I just went to look at 4 that is being constructed. Look, I'm on my way now to examine another 2 that is being done in St. James Central. So between East Central and Central St. James, there is 6 that is constructed now. And I can tell you that St. James Central would have submitted another 6 for this financial year. So let me tell you something, make no mistake about it. This is a program that is changing lives. And listen out, the houses that you are accustomed to, the design that we have grown accustomed to, has been upgraded to a modern contemporary design now. So if you look at the new social housing design, the drawing for the newer version of it, you're going to see a completely total different house from what we have grown accustomed to seeing.
And these people don't pay a single cent to get the house.
Not a single cent, sir. Let me tell you, I have the privilege of being involved in the process from 2019. When I decided to come back and do some work in Jamaica, I was MP clerk in St. James Central to assist with that time the housing program just came on board. And I went through and scouted out the individuals, did the interviews, took the pictures, created the file for them, submitted to the housing agency, well, to economic growth and job creation. And I'm pleased to say that the first set of houses that were handed over in St. James Central, I was a part of that process that did the processing for the individual who are the recipient. They did not pay a single penny. And I have the pictures here from
the people getting social houses. They don't pay no money at all?
Not a dollar, sir. Not a single
completely
penny.
Free?
Completely free.
Is this a program that you would carry over into the 3rd term?
No, it's going over in the 3rd term in tenfold. So the rate at which houses are being built now for the social housing program is slated to escalate tenfold. In other words, and that is why you now have a more detailed drawing for this one. It's a modern contemporary drawing which makes it a little easier to finish and all that good stuff. So what you're going to see going into the 3rd term is, instead of handing over 12 houses on a Friday, you're going to see the Prime Minister probably handing over, well, I'm quite certain that the Prime Minister will not be able to hand over all the houses that are going to be developed now, because the program is being escalated quite rapidly in terms of the
What you saying to me? You planning to build more social housing, sir?
Can I add? It was 2 days ago. Good evening, good afternoon, everybody. It was 2 days ago that the Prime Minister broke ground for another duplex social housing program that will be providing housing for 13 residents, where their housing, it was like a tenement yard. It was burnt down in 2021. So now he broke ground. I remember he handed over a duplex earlier this year to a number of residents. I think that was like some 20 other residents. In
36 in total, winner.
36 residents in his constituency. So he's building another duplex again.
Neighbor, I am making a prediction that by the end of the next 5 years, there will be no tenement yard left in Jamaica. No tenement yard will be left in Jamaica. There will be a thing of the past.
Well, I can support that.
That's a bold one.
As a matter of fact, it's going to be in the Antigua. There is to construct a multi complex in a particular.
Chops, you're breaking up a little there.
It was yes.
Chops, you're breaking up.
I'm mobile.
Right.
I don't know if you hear me now.
That's better.
Yeah, man. So I was saying to you that in Montego Bay, the government is now far advanced in completing the design for a multi-complex built out, similar to what was done in Olympic in the Prime Minister's constituency. A similar development is coming to Montego Bay that include recreational area and all that good stuff. A huge one, probably bigger than the one in the PM's constituency, is coming to Montego Bay, and the program is the process is way advanced now. So you are going to see that sort of build out in gentrified areas in the city where people live in some of these town areas, in rundown buildings and zinc fences. You're going to see them gutting them out and building proper structures in there. It's coming, my brother.
Well, that's fantastic. No, Mr. Finley. These social houses are for those, people who maybe can't afford it. But then for those persons who can afford, the government has also increased the loan limit for NHT contributors.
Yes, neighbor. The loan limit has been moved from 7 million to 9. 9 million. A double occupant, now a married couple, let's just say a married couple now can get up to $17 million to buy a house. And remember, just last week I told you that the mandate given to NHT is to focus mainly on the market between $8 and $14 million. So if a married couple working now can get $17 million, then neighbor, what does that mean for home ownership in Jamaica?
Yes, my understanding also is that you have capped, you have the government is reserving a portion of the NHT houses for young people.
For young people,
sir.
Yes.
Mandatory. Yes.
Yes.
And also, minimum wage earners, neighbor, which is one of the talking points of the PNP, is that people can't afford these houses. It must be known that a person who is earning minimum wage in Jamaica, minimum wage, can qualify for a NHT house.
When we discussed that at length last week, Saturday.
And by the way, neighbor, just an update on that, neighbor. Let me give you an update. That
they don't pay interest.
Just yesterday, yesterday, the NHT would have put out an advert that they are ready again for the next phase of Catherine Estate. The one I was telling you about last week, the next phase is ready. So people can now apply. If you are a minimum wage earner and you're listening to me today, the NHT, go on the website. Don't listen to the village lawyer. Go on the NHT's website. They are now open the application for the next phase of Catherine Estate. And Philippians and Union Acres also. All right, there you go.
Very good. Mr. Finley, also, the government would have scored very highly in creating employment. I'm surprised when I hear that the multiplier effect on that, Mr. Chop, is significant. It's really
that was shown in the poverty rate, neighbor.
Yes, it's
There
really
is
some
no
people.
better way to reduce poverty than to create employment.
I am asking if you're sure that we have created 250,000 jobs. That whole for jobs that you know, sir.
Neighbor, you don't have to ask me. Government can't lie, you know. It's on the government website. Look around, you look. Eh?
But when you look at the significant drop in poverty to 8.2%, as well as Jamaica scoring its best on the World Hunger Index of 7.7, now rank 40, right? So Jamaica, when you look at that World Hunger Index, Jamaica is in the green zone, which is a good zone, and the best we have ever been since they started to track that number. We attained that number, Mr. Neighbor, 7.7, and we rank 40 in this world, right? So we have been getting the numbers, and the numbers don't lie. People are working. Those jobs are real and creating real
more to the
benefit.
point, neighbor, and more to the point, if you want more evidence that the economy is really doing good, as Chopper said initially, we're not there yet, but we're on a path to getting there. A stagnant economy doesn't produce 20,000 new business, and this is data coming from the Companies Office of Jamaica. New entrepreneurs. A stagnant economy don't do that. So if you want more evidence that the economy is thriving, that the economy is stable and doing well, that's another metric we can use, we can look at.
Great. Mr. Finley, I got some information last week that there was a time in Jamaica when a company, a major business in Jamaica had to be paying government workers. Is that true, sir?
I know for sure of 2 occasions, neighbor. 2 occasions I know for sure. When it was followed up to Grace Kennedy, and another occasion, Dennis and Geddes had to pay public sector wages because the government could not afford it.
Is that really true, sir?
Neighbor, I don't pride myself on telling lying, neighbor.
No, I'm not calling you a liar, but
I know of 2 occasions, neighbor, and it's only 2 I know about. So there could be more. That the public sector, Dennis and Geddes and Grace Kennedy had to step in and pay public sector wages.
Under the Labour Party government, sir?
No, sir. Under the People's National Party government. The same government that at the same time was taxing the Jamaican people at a level that we have never known before.
They had to pay for fuel too. They had to pay the fuel bill for the ship that was docked outside of the port. Private sector had to do that.
But more to the point, it was in that same period, neighbor, central government was indebted to itself because ministries, central government could have turned statutory deductions withdrawn from employee salary to TAJ. So the government was indebted to itself, could not pay over statutory deductions at all.
You know, guys, when I see people complaining about government giving $2,000 back, you know, it just shows that majority of our learned people are limited in terms of thinking. Because it's not just $2,000 back. We are coming from 1.5. We are coming from 596,000 to 1.5 to 1.7 to 1.8 and eventually $2 million. It's the first time in history that we have a government since 2016 giving the people of Jamaica back money in their pockets like hard-earned cash. This is yours. This is an incentive. We are no longer taxing you this, but we are returning this to your salary. That is something significant, neighbor. This is something that we were looking at budgets where government was taking from our salaries, not giving back.
Yes.
So this government has spoiled the people into believing that, listen, government must give you something.
Okay.
So when we look at budgets now, it's about giving.
The public sector, they don't come a lot on these programs and get involved a lot, but they really have been experiencing a tremendous benefits through their salaries and things like that. Haven't they, teachers?
I heard from a good friend of mine last month when they looked at their salary, they got $20,000 back. They
the reverse tax credit?
The reverse taxation. They got $20,000 back. So people out there are getting the monies, but they're not talking because you know that we are living in a polarized society where you can be victimized. Imagine you have a PMP manager who wants to victimize you because you're a labor right, because you spoke out. So you do have persons who are benefiting and those persons are not speaking. And hopefully they will turn out on the day of election to say, we want to continue with this government. Because those persons that you saw the other day in front of Heroes Circle talking about they can't accounts and all of these things. These people will be voting in on neighbor.
Yes.
Not on the policies, but the fact that I am in Orange House. Yeah? Not on the fact that these people have put out a plan for the people of Jamaica to say, okay, this is a 30-year vision that we want to take. No. I am in Orange House and therefore me go vote. And if persons who are in the middle class who are benefiting significantly from this and sit beside thinking that, listen, the government can win the election without your help, making a sad mistake.
Yes, and so we know. Help me now because I'm fast running out of time. How is the government now going to be connecting all of these performance with the voters? Make sure that the people are not only aware of what is happening, but what is
just let me give you two figures before you ask me that question, and just I'm going to read two categories of salaries for you, so people
yes, sir,
understand where we're coming from. So we have a pre-trained graduate teacher that before 2022, the salary was $1,043,000. That's what that teacher was taking home, $1,043,000 annually. That the low end and the high end was $1.297 million in that category, the low end and the high end. Now, after 2024, that salary moved from $1,043,000 neighbor to $2.2 million neighbor.
Wow. You see it on the road, sir.
2.2 million. You see it in the parking lot. You see it in the parking lot of the school then.
Yes, sir. You see
that's just one category neighbor. I won't go anymore. That's just one category.
Yes.
Messaging.
Well, I tell you, the performance here is impressive. Not to mention, Mr. Finley, what is happening in health. You want to help us? Yes, sir.
4 hospitals under construction, neighbor.
Tell us before.
5.
4. And
Westmoreland.
now.
Westmoreland joined.
Oh yeah, let's start that one because that was a part of the next 3. So 4 now, and when those 4 complete, they're gonna embark on rebuilding. Neighbor, do you know how old the Kingston Public Hospital is?
No, tell me.
It is 234 years old.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
234 years old. This government is going to rebuild that hospital, a brand new one.
Yes. How is Spanish Town going on?
Function this time. There are lots of things that the hospital needed that building was not built to accommodate it. But we're gonna rebuild it now.
For this Spanish Town, about 2 months ago, they were pouring concrete, so they're supposed to be laying out structures.
They also upgraded some over 200 health centers, neighbor. And neighbor, this is important. For the first time, neighbor,
yes,
we now have health centers that are staffed with doctors. Not a doctor will turn up once a week, but doctors are now posted at health centers across the island.
Yes.
We have never been in that
state. I understand that if you lose your limb, you can get back a limb.
The Limb for Life program.
What on the neighbor?
Go on, protect.
You know, the truck at me and wait.
Neighbor, you can protect the connection back.
No. Because me pull over here. Because me have it on the road.
PMP Wi-Fi there, but you can't get through.
All right, one talk again.
Yes, neighbor. So the Limb for Life program, neighbor, is one that was started by this government. So if you as a Jamaican met in an accident and you lose your hand or you lose your foot.
Yeah, I saw a man downtown without hands yesterday and I thought about it, you know.
Will give you free prosthetic. And funny enough, neighbor, the first beneficiary of this program.
What about genitals for men? Can get back it?
Viagra will soon be added to the we are lobbying for that.
If the man
drink some strong.
get Viagra.
We are lobbying to have the Viagra added to the NHS.
Hurry up.
We are working on that. But neighbor, funny enough, the Limb for Life program, neighbor, the very first beneficiary of that program is a man who you would see on social media every day cursing the very minister that gave him a new leg when a car run over his leg at 89 Hope Road.
Yes, I remember that man.
Yes.
I remember that man, of course. Yes, I remember.
First recipient of that program.
He's popular on radio.
Popular on radio.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my
but
goodness.
as I was saying before, Chuck, before you go down at the Limb for Life, I Chuck to draw the history. Because neighbor, Frank, and the people who are listening, those who really come to learn, because a lot of people tune into neighbor because they want to learn. If the people of Jamaica really were read and they knew the things that the PMP have done or have not done, the PMP would literally have nothing to talk about in Jamaica, in a neighbor. So look at the PMP now talking about health. But the PMP have never built an hospital in Jamaica.
Yes, and disappointingly, I heard Miss Burchell in the Cornwall Regional last week. I don't know if you heard
pure
her.
Lies.
Did you hear her, sir?
Yes, with lies, because 24 billion.
You did a program on it, eh?
Yeah, but before we get there, so neighbor, the broader point to back up or to set a proper foundation for what Chuck said. The PMP have never built an hospital in Jamaica.
No, sir?
Yes, they have. No, never. Check the hospital them. They have built a few clinics throughout their time. But guess what? They have closed. If they build, they close on 10.
They upgraded hospitals, though.
No.
What is the argument?
I mean, in 1972,
Yeah.
when the Mapen Hospital was completed, when Michael Manley came in, he said that the bed space there was a little bit too much, because I think it was 20-something or 40-something. And so they did an extension to add another 20 beds or 22 beds somewhere there. But they didn't build nothing. They didn't build Cornwall Regional. Cornwall Regional was built in 1968. It was a gift from the government of Canada to Jamaica.
Yes.
And those are the last two built in Jamaica.
So who was responsible for the upgrade of Mandeville?
But that's what I'm saying. A little upgrade here and there.
But
when you look at
an hospital as well.
the addition of Mapen Hospital to add the 20 beds and not building the hospital, that the point is, when they handed over government in 2007, the whole system popped down, but Bruce did not know that until free healthcare kicked in. When they handed over government again in 2016, were emerging even before, because of 2014, Cornwall Regional had the air quality issue. And then by Horace Daly sent man up in an event to go sweep you out with broom. But then when it came back in 2019, 2020, 2021, thereabout, when the government decided to really now pull down the place and look what the problem in there, they realized that the whole building had dropped down, and that's why the vent was breached. So mold was seeping into the system, and that's why the building was classified by the assessor, who is an engineer in hospitals in America. It was classified as a sick building. When you look on the Cornwall Regional building, before this government attempted to really reconstruct it, not even look a paint never drop on it. And if you look on all of the hospital them in 2016, not even look a paint never drop on them.
Yeah, and so fairly protecting. When the opposition criticizes the government's performance, you really have to look at the context and the history, where it's coming from.
The context is very important.
Yes.
Important, neighbor.
Yes.
Very, very important.
Because there is no way
Nurses
that the
were
government
falling
could have fixed all the issues it has in 9 years based on where the economy was.
Can I add something to that?
Run down these facilities. They run them down to the ground. So I don't know when they speak. That is the reason why whenever they say something, it has to be challenged. Because when it is challenged now, you give those who are paying attention to the discussions, two sides of the coin for them to decide. Lies. Because yeah, go ahead, winner.
No, on the same Carnival regional issue, I hear PMP championing that in the latest video that $26 billion has been spent so far on Carnival Regional Hospital. That's an absolute garbage and nonsense and lies. No such figures have been spent at Carnival Regional Hospital. Those are projection, Jamaicans. Also in that projection of $26 billion, these hospitals will be, the monies that is involved in that $26 billion also involves all the machineries, every single socket, every single plyboard, every single tool, every single tray, every single needle that will be used to stock the hospital to the point where the hospital will be fully functional. That is the projection for the $26 billion. And when you see PMP quoting figures that they could build a hospital for less than $26 billion from the ground up, the size of Cornwall Regional Hospital, that's a lie from the pit of hell. And I challenge the PMP to provide the drawings as well as the project plans that would build a hospital of that magnitude, fully furbished, fully equipped with all equipment that will be there at that hospital for less than $26 billion. I challenge them.
Yes, winner. And to add to that, up to this point, only $6 billion has been spent. That's a projection of the.
No, it's reached $9 billion. Remember, they put I think up to 2024 would have reached $9 billion. And then there was another allocation in this budget. So I think you added a $5 billion, Chuck? I think it's $5 billion
was budget for this cycle.
For this, so you would have end up to 14 to between 14 to $15 billion.
Okay, so the 24 enough spend it then.
For projecting. Someone is asking me for you to explain. They're saying that the PNP rebuilt. To rebuild means that you would have torn down, right?
Right.
So they didn't rebuild and our mandible. They improved it, right?
No, it was upgraded.
Neighbor, they are clutching at straws. The last set of hospitals that were built in Jamaica were built under the Jamaica Labour Party. Okay, they're clutching at straws, and then
when the
that's why they're trying to seep into the country.
They rebuilt the hospital. That is incorrect.
Right.
Even in terms of language.
Cornwall Regional Hospital was the last hospital to be built from ground.
To rebuild something means that you build it over. Okay.
Once the old structure means you have upgraded.
Like what is happening with the Cornwall region. But
yeah.
What happened that Mandeville? PJ built the front. Him put out at the front. And paint one side of the roof and paint up the building. You build a porch, build a veranda upon the house, and you build your house.
Yeah.
And build on the front. Paint one side of the roof.
Protecting let me tell you about the difference in thinking, neighbor. The difference in thinking, neighbor. Presently, you ask PMP support on social media if the government build any new schools in taking office. And we will tell them, no, we don't build any new schools. But guess what? Over 200 schools has been given new classroom blocks.
Right, but we don't really need
while we're extending the school, we're not telling anybody, so we build them.
Yeah.
So the difference in thinking, neighbor. We have given over 200 school new blocks of classrooms.
Yeah, I want to hear a little bit more about this Limp for Life program, though, you know, Chuck. And
oh, the Limp for Life, man.
Yes, tell me how it works. And there's something
protecting everyone else. Guys, can I have some taps on the screen, please, and please share out the live. And if you have any money going in the chat, please send it. Remember the live goal. Okay, all right, back over to you.
Hold on before you go, Philippians, because we broke this week. Pay for the can't even pay for it this week. I wonder if Chops can help us out. Talk to Chops. I mean, Philippians.
Our Chuck, anybody?
Yeah. I have 20.
And you can send some donuts, some money gun thing you have.
The bears, the lion, the tiger. Open the zoo for the
yeah. The zoo.
Yes,
Let's the animal in nice zoo.
I think I don't like the begging thing, but
no, that's why we employ Philippians to do that too.
Jesus.
We employ Philippians to take care of that.
Yes, and she not doing a good job. I think I'm going to have to. You're not helping us out here.
Any lion, get that picture in our display.
Oh my.
Yeah, I've been wondering if it's her. You know.
Oh, it's mine.
Oh my goodness! You see how you stay very teasing, but giving away very little.
Yes. Man, we've gone on the screen yet, you know. No, me no want a rose. No, me have a rose already. Don't do that.
Yes, you have to tell them Philippians that you see we're doing here now and it's costing us $20 an hour.
Yeah.
$20 an hour, guys. Well, we're doing it for our country.
Yes. Good, neighbor.
Yes, Mr. Finley, you are telling us about the for Life program.
Yes.
And if your teeth drop out,
second chance.
Yes. And you are saying to Foresight that may be coming to him soon.
We are lobbying the government that to the NHF, Mr. Jones.
Foresight, you hear that?
Neighbor, I believe that impotence is a disability, so it needs to be treated accordingly. We should people with impotence should have their own parking space. People with those things should have their own parking space, neighbor.
Yeah, I think I do that. You win the election easily. By the way, seriously though,
yes,
the Live for Life program, Second Chance Smile, these are
so those two programs, neighbor, those two programs are two important initiatives.
Yes.
And they're coupled. So there's a third one also, neighbor, which is the Compassionate Care Grant. So we have the Live for Life, the Second Chance Smile, and the Compassionate Care Grant. Right? So the Live for Life now is a program by the government, by the Ministry of Health, whereby in an accident and you lose your arm, use an arm or a leg, the government will give you free prosthetic legs or arms for you to get back as normal life. So gone are the days when you lose your leg and you have to slung a yard because your family can't afford a prosthetic leg for you. Or them have to go to GoFundMe, or you have to TV or big donations. Those days are gone. Your government is now presenting those to you free. Your tax at work. A Second Chance Smile. Another program by the Ministry of Health whereby you can go to the clinic and get your return to that of your youthful days.
Yes, sir.
At no cost to your pocket. And all you have to do is to be a Jamaican citizen and apply to your government.
Wow.
Takes nothing. The Compassionate Care Grant now.
Where do they go? You say, Chuck?
Yes.
And for prosthetics, is the clinic they visit as well?
You have to get the assessment done at your doctor, and the doctor will send whatever information you need. Ministry, and the ministry will tell you which clinic they do it at. But you go to your doctor, give you the paperwork you need, and they take it from there.
The government have dental clinics. So once
Yes.
you go to the government dental clinic, you can take out your rotten teeth them free. And then you can free, you take them out. And you can sign up for the second chance smile and you can get the new teeth them free.
Free. Neighbor, the compassionate care grant neighbor program in which if you are ill and you require any form of surgery, the government will give you a grant, neighbor, and we say grant, not a loan, a grant of upwards of $1 million to get any surgical procedure done.
Outside of the government hospital, sir?
Outside of the government hospital, whether you do it in the private public.
I the first me I hear about this. Really?
Yeah, but this government when it comes to surgery.
So if you need like tell me a little bit more about that.
Right. So if you need, say you need kidney replacement, well, we're not gonna say kidney, that's something that big one. But any life-saving surgery that you need, any life-saving surgery that you might need, that you would normally have to sit at home and die because you can't afford it. Because remember the neighbor, some of these programs are being done in the private sector. You have to bring in your private doctor. So this bridge that gap. Because bear in mind, we not only not all in Jamaica as public hospital, you know. We do have private hospitals and we do have tax-paying citizens that visit those hospitals.
So if you are in the hospital, in the government hospital, and the government hospital is not able to manage what is happening to you, or you can make that request.
Yes.
To be transferred to say Andrews. Could you?
Say Andrews.
Yes.
And the government will pay for that surgery upwards of $1 million.
Really?
Yeah, but there's a lady, she's always on my platform. She had stage 4. I don't know, she was diagnosed with cancer, and she said she went through all her chemo, all her operation and everything she needed, and did not spend $1 out of her pocket.
What are you saying to me?
Your government, my government paid for that.
What is the program's name, sir?
The Compassionate Care Grant. Yes. Upwards of $1 million to pay.
Coming over here today.
You know, I'm gonna give you a little thing I had with this program. I have a friend of mine, staunch PNP supporter. He is one of Mark Golding closest associate. He worked for Mark Golding. He run up and down for Mark Golding. And when he took sick and was in the hospital, it was what to point him to these programs. Not Mark Golding.
You also want to mention how efficient and convenient drug service now. Remember when you had to line up in line and go out by 5 a.m. and get a medication? I remember even in COVID, drug serve was driving around and they would take the medication to you. And the also covers more medication.
There is a compassionate program in Jamaica from the Ministry of Health that Jamaicans can get $1 million grant to pay for medical surgeries.
Yes, there is.
Wow. You know, Mr. Finley, I speak to you, the more I understand that there seems to be a little bit of a those to Mr. Finley, because me never know about all of this.
Never again.
Our people have been taught to believe that nothing going on.
No, but I should have known. I should have man that.
Yeah, but you should have known. But we have to admit though that there's a conditioning people. To the point where we believe that nothing now go on, and therefore we're not
that is fundamental, you know, sir.
Yeah, and therefore we're not supposed to look, say government and give us anything, because we have used to it. Our governments in the past
or that we don't have
give
the
us
capacity.
anything.
We don't have the capacity for these things to happen to us.
Exactly. So a lot of our Jamaicans are just not willing to look for these things. And it is there, it is right in front of our eyes. And talk about it there every day. Nobody knows what's Parliament. I mean, Parliament is in a state now where every single Jamaican can actually sit down and listen to Parliament, thanks to the new what's her name again? Please just have
BBC.
No. This is Holness as the new speaker of the House. She has bring to the House people. You know, realize back in the past we could not sit down and watch Parliament and pay cascades and nice. But she has in control of Parliament that the average man can sit down and learn from Parliament when these legislation are put in place. And if you watch JIS and PBC, you have always been telling Jamaicans about what exists. But because people have been conditioned not go on, I'm
going to tell you about a law that was recently Parliament, and I bet you haven't heard about it yet. It's not only medical. 2 weeks ago, the government passed in Parliament that any hotel development in Jamaica right now and in the beach must have public access. Make it know the government recently passed that law.
Well,
there's no record, nowhere in our history of this government, whether it be Bruce, whether it be Edward, whether it be Buster, have ever sold any of Jamaican beaches.
But what does that mean in terms of public access? Because
public access means that you can no longer build a hotel around the beach and block out locals. They're not gonna walk through your lobby, but you have to have somewhere where the public access the beach.
Yeah.
What are you saying to me?
Yes, passing Parliament.
It is now our law.
So all of the hotels that have these beach properties, you are saying Jamaicans must have access to them?
Must have access to these beaches.
You know, it's quite hypocritical though, neighbor. Mark Golding was Justice Minister between 2012 to 26 February, right? And in 2015, the last beach that was sold, that administration Royal Decameron bought.
In other words, you can't sell a beach. You can't sell a beach. You can't sell
a beach.
Yeah, no. But they were able to privatize that beach. That beach in 2015 to the people of Jamaica. It was under UDC, and Royal Decameron was able to access to that beach, no longer available to the public. Also, Investment Limited, founded by Mark Golding and Peter Bunting, in the process of advertising studios as well as private beach access residents.
So Mr. Winner, what is going to happen now in terms of this process of this beach legislation? Because this is fundamental.
Yes, so
new summer is coming up now, and you want to tell me that I could go to Ochurias at Rio and as you say, I can't go to Rio's hotel lobby, but I must have some access to the beach?
Yes. They have to now make access for the public.
So now you can have people going to the beach without having to book the hotel.
Yes.
Some of our beaches are under long extended lease.
Congratulations.
The government has said lease beach. The public must have access to these things.
Where I want Jamaica to get the neighbor.
We get the beach, the beach Antigua Bay. We get in the one in Portmore, New Parish.
Yes.
And the government is continuing to build out all these parts of the island to make sure that at least each parish have a main attraction. Well, Manchester, unfortunately, because Manchester had no access to any beach. But
we Manchester have no beach, but we are going to make the road easier so they can get to one in less time.
Yes. So that out of the government. So new hotels coming in must give access to the public. Also, long-term lease, once those leases expire, ability for any private people to say, oh, we're going to lock out Jamaica out of those beaches. No, that will not be under a government's orders.
Neighbor,
But this
the last time we heard this
I am reading this here on the Prime Minister. Including myself, we know guests online. To be a campaign in this country to get people information.
Exactly.
You and I have been discussing that for a while.
Have to be because as I'm saying to you here, we believe everybody must have access to the Prime Minister, but we go a step further. I am happy to announce that the government will be upgrading a number of places across the island for public access.
And neighbor, the problem is not what you know. The problem is how many people know what the government is doing. Right? You have persons asking for benefits that are already available.
Neighbor,
yes.
This is where we started our encounter a few months back. First time we spoke, that it is the messaging from the government that is the problem. The message talk to people. The PNP knows this, and that's why so many openings have been left to be manipulating people.
But you know, protecting it comes across as criticizing the government. When you say something like that, I mean, and you know,
no.
They have said to me that, you know, neighbor, you have to be careful these days because, you know, it is the election season and
Neighbor, we must be careful not to fool ourselves when we speak openly like this. The only thing that the government can do now is they act together, and within 9 days, everybody will forget that I said to them that they need to get their act together. But if you need to get your act together, why is it that I shouldn't be able to say, I couldn't be able to say that you should? Labor rights and people who just follow blindly, I don't know we are protesting, brother. Labor rights know we are following. I remember a few months ago, one of our last conversations before 3 days ago when I came on to your program, Neighbor. Do you remember Mr. Colin Shaka Flame? He came up, he requested the box and you led him to the box and I told you to kick him out. Do you remember that conversation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Shaka Flames was leased the Boston Beach in Portland for 15 by the PNP, or must be 20 years, or somewhere there. So I don't remember the number. Used to rent the beach to anybody who go Portland to go have a good time, and the lease expired, and the government refused to renew the lease, so him could have make money and live for the beach, and that's why him begs him start all podcasts now against the government. His intention was to use the damn beach. Well, you know, use them language over here. Use the beach to finance his campaign. The moment the government decided that they were not going to renew his lease, him campaign, a lot of people don't understand these things, you know, when they at me, you know. Him drop out of the campaign and turn over the constituency to Ice Pratt because he could not finance his campaign any longer to go make money. Was not renewed. And this is how the PNP operate. And when I come on these plans, come on have to mince up and pretty up nothing. If the government need to communicate better to the people of Jamaica, they need to communicate. Nobody not tell me if you go shut my mouth and swing in the corner.
That's right. While I agree with one on the winner, that there's a conditioning of the minds that nothing not go on. I think the party needs to revise communication strategy. Because a lot of things...
But you know, Forsyth, that's part of the issues too, you know. Because
challenge.
Even on hearing, even hear it, they say it can't be true.
Exactly.
You know how many people right now are saying nothing can't.
Repeatedly.
I have challenged them Forsyth. I've challenged them.
Yeah,
I've spoken to them. I've told them we need a professional marketing team coming for the election because it's going to be a battle of the mind. Right? It can't be left up to this type of information. But we need a marketing firm. Labor right there having money. Right? To make the message be tailored in such a way that our professionals are already delivering the information, targeting information. Lies and propaganda. You have to make sure that the truth, because truth is something that you know. Because a lot of persons don't focus on it. Negativity on the truth. So therefore you have to package the truth in such a way that nobody can escape it. Somebody with that marketing strategy and that marketing skill that has studied psychology to understand how people operate and how you can message the argument so that they reach people.
Neighbor,
I'm telling them that already.
Neighbor, we have a people. Our people. Well, let me plug in this here. Our people are so special, neighbor. Look at it this way. Our are like a sick person who's sick and are dead. And them know them need to take medication. But while you give them the medication, you have to tell them, say, this is the medication and it is for you and it's better. Yes, man, it'll make you feel strong. We have to remember who we are messaging to. We are messaging to people who are going to gather for protest and gather for vote and them don't know what the hell them gather for. So if you're not tailor messaging, you understand nothing. These are the people going to the voting booth, you know. Them don't know where them are go for. Some of them just walk go in there because somebody say go through the door there and go around this and when they get a piece of paper, mark X right or so. And that's all them know. Them are go protest and they don't know where them are protest for, them are go vote. And they don't know where them are vote for.
If I may come in, you know, I've been listening for quite a while, and I wanted to come in from the time when Hugh Richards was here, but that has long passed, and the algorithm has changed. But I have heard elderly people who enough themselves as it relates to technology, chanting about the good works that is happening in the country. Elderly people, some of whom probably didn't even make it past elementary school. And we have young people who are sitting with technology, who have been to school and can read and write. Now the elderly people, as much as they're in their final lap of the relay, many of them, you know, disappointed and toast wants to die, and every one of us will go disappointed. But what I realize is that the younger generation who should be tapping into the knowledge, doing their research, and tapping into everything that is happening, they are the ones who are sitting down, not doing any research, not doing any reading, and they are the ones who are convinced that nothing is happening. Now, in my opinion, many of these people do not want to be learned because they have already draft a narrative in their minds. They have already made up their mind that they don't want to be a part of it. So I'm trying to figure out how would we be able to tailor something like that, because while there's a lot of different arms to look into, the question is how. Yes, with marketing and all of that, but I am of the opinion that if the sky open and God speak audibly with the truth, a lot of these people won't even believe. So while I don't know, but I just don't think that it is going to be a ABC. Not with the fact that there is so much damage that has been done already to the airwave and the atmosphere, and people are now in limbo as it relates to what is true and what is lie. And in my opinion, you know, while some can be corrected now, a lot of it might very well have to be sorted out going forward. And I agree that there has to be a overhaul on the way the communication is done. I am not satisfied. I jumped ship in 2023, as I often said. PMP, my entire family are PMP. I jumped ship 2023. I voted last year for the first time. So it is going to take a lot for people.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
What led you to jump ship, do I choose? What did you see?
Yeah, exactly.
That was so that would have led you to vote for the JLP.
I choose, yeah, man. This is an interesting story I want to hear because I just that like last month to jump ship, you know. When I look on timeline, like last month at the jump ship, what significantly has changed since 2020 that you decided, listen, no, this government actually cares about Jamaica. And I see you're using the hashtag too. I choose Jamaica. Go ahead and let us know what is happening there.
Well, for me, it has been many things. I have done my research. I am a well-thinking Jamaican. I saw a country before a party that.
Are you middle class? Are you middle class?
Oh no.
No.
No reach to say it.
You never say it. Okay.
But what I'm saying is this: I started to do my research when Dr. Holness won in 2016. I wasn't so much interested because, you know, coming out of a PMP background, you know, you come out of the cocoon and you're still covered in all the things that you need to get rid of and the mindset. But then I saw something different that I've never seen before in many years. I saw development beginning to happen. I saw a man who seems to really care genuinely. And I felt genuinely that he could be trusted and that he really meant what he says he is going to do. And when I look at the you know, I've lived in the 90s when I had to buy sugar with something or I couldn't get one item without the other. I have witnessed Roger Clark as an MP, Kern Spencer as an MP, Mama P as Prime Minister, PJ as Prime Minister. And when 2004 in the election was coming up, I said to myself, I had to make a strategic decision. Is either I'm going to continue with the old or continue with the new. And I saw where there has to be a change. There has to be something better, you know? And that was when I made my decision that, listen, it's time for a change. Not many of them can do that because guess what? I will die a PMP, but me not change. Right in my constituency, Dearborn constituency, every other day they do Craig goes to a baptism in a PMP stronghold. Because people are now warming up to the reality that if you look at my page right now, you could never believe that I was of a PMP background with all the things that I've posted. Never.
It's the fact that while you were a PNP, at some point you would have seen you'd have gotten a sense that JLP is doing a much better job, but you know, you're afraid to admit, or it is just that courage to switch that is the challenge. Because I believe, you know, when I talk to some PNP persons, I believe that they see that the JLP is actually doing a better job, is the better party to lead the country. But just to go over that hurdle of switching to say, I am going to support the Jamaica Labour Party, is that I sense a level of like shame or I don't know, I would call it probably, I can't even say pride, but just not having that courage, just not being able to come to terms with the fact that, boy, I know I have to switch and admit the truth to me I see in front of me. Was there any point Was that an experience for you during the time when you were PNP where you started to see clearly, but you're still a bit hesitant to accepting the fact that JLP is a better party and I'm going to switch?
Not at all, because it was a clear, there was no comparison. Like I said, I've done my research. I have measured the performance of these prime ministers over the years. So it was never a struggle for me. I have always been a Jamaican first. I have always loved my country first, and I have always wanted to put it first. And this is something that a lot of persons are struggling with. What is it that we truly want to happen? As a young youth, who have lived in the worst times in our Jamaican history, lived in one of the worst economies in our Jamaican history. When I see what is happening, I told myself that, listen, I'm about progress, and this man measures up with my morals and my values and my attributes. And I want to see, as a youth, when I watch movie, I'm used to see America pretty, and all of these countries, all them pretty, and the tall, towering buildings. And when me walk in my community, all me can see a bus up road and people live in a shack and people in a light lamp and candle at night time. And I realize that the world has more to offer than what we have in Jamaica. So when I decided to cross over, I was looking at all those things. I went back to the 90s where I have lived in the worst times. And I come back right up to current. And there is just simply no measurement. My family have voted for PNP for decades. My grandfather dropped out of basic school and he died at 60-something years old. Couldn't read and write. I love him. Very good man. He took care of us. He was my Superman. So I'm not discrediting him, but it's a fact. He voted PNP all of his life. He died a pauper.
Have you been able to convert anybody since 2023?
Due to my background and what I really have to be more neutral.
Oh, understood.
So I don't dabble publicly and all of that. But
I respect you to the max, 100%. Yes. And everybody who there listen to you, if them not love you, then they're bad mind, as the Prime Minister said. But there is something that I've always wanted to confirm. I'm going to ask you one simple question.
Go ahead.
Just to prove the point that all the messaging need to go. Are you aware, coming out of a PNP background and having voted for PNP, are you aware of the PNP teaching the people who follow them, the people who subscribe to their kind of politics? Are you aware of the PNP literally teaching the people to hate the JLP?
Of course, it is right before us. I've spoken to many of them, and
I'm glad for the answer then. Neighbor, as I go back to our very first conversation, I think Foresight was there too. I wonder if this is deja vu, where my position was stated and my position remains the same. The PNP go down to the granular. Them come on your veranda can teach you to hate progress, to hate prosperity, to hate advancement, and to hate the JLP.
Is the former comrade admitting that?
Yes, he's admitting it.
But I can admit
to it.
I grew up in a PNP household, PNP community.
Yeah.
And you were conditioned to hate labor rights. You were told that labor rights are wicked. They're not good. Basically, the Jamaica is PNP. You were basically indoctrinated to believe that labor rights are evil.
I just did not want to be the only one, and that's why every time I get the opportunity to speak to somebody who is a thinking Jamaican, who have moved over from the PNP, just like my mother and father. When my father, you know, sat me down, you know, and tell me that for all his life he have vote PNP and if me say him poor. So we need to chart the way forward. None of we in the house never know say my mother switch long time, you know.
but then there is a need to uncover this hypocrisy, man. This is a dangerous thing.
You see, the PNP take the effort to go to the doorsteps to deliver the message. The JLP relies on their supporters to search for the message.
Okay.
So while the PNP is delivering at the doorstep, the labor rights are expecting their supporters, or not just supporters, just to search. Yeah. We need to go to the doorsteps and
go to the people in the yard. Go sit down with them on the veranda.
Deliver the positive message to counter the negatives that are coming at their doorsteps. And right?
That's where my problem is, neighbor.
What the problem with I think one of the things that I would prefer us to do, right? Because here we are on our lives, spreading the info. But what is the party's message strategy to get this message on the ground to the people? What is the party's message? What is the strategy that the party is using to get the message on the ground? We are doing our best on the lives, but the party needs to assist us.
It's like what Foresight just say. Look at it this way. You see the party now listening, you know. Look at it this way. I choose, we just talk like a while and confirm what we just say. PNP background. Winner will come out of PNP background. And we are tell the party how the PNP message. But them now listen to it. When you have, again, you know, when you have a people or a culture, remember saying a neighbor have a plantation for people them come from, you know. Yes. So anybody did attack something where they did 1 year, that them go real fine, you know. So at the end of the day, they carried that as a culture through the family. And that one they did help me, you know, so I want to make sure so I want to remain true to them. How do we untangle that? How do we disabuse their minds of that historic kind of fracture in their brain?
We have generation of families that support PNP because Michael Manley did shake their great grandfather hand.
Okay. And we need to understand that. So when when we come from the background, when we come from winner, and this gentleman just now, I tell the Jamaica Labour Party, say the messaging have to go up on people veranda. You have to teach the people how to actually accept the prosperity because them don't know how to process it.
And stop telling people they need to go search, and it's on GIS, and it's on the website.
And stop telling them to go on PDCJ, tune into Parliament, and people do your own research and nonsense that PNP now rely upon that. PNP now people doorstep right now.
Let me tell you another strategy that PNP use. You see, anywhere there's a big yard, there's like a big family.
Yes.
For example, like my grandmother who had 9 children. They would make it a point of duty to show up at her place of residence and speak to her, because what? When you speak to grandma get 9 votes, and then my uncles and my aunts, they have kids too.
Okay.
Right?
And then brethren
create one Anansi web where everybody
in the community
said out in grandma. Community. And before you know, the entire community is contaminated with this ideology.
Neighbor,
rights,
when you have Angela Brownberg, that people do we are show up people do we are tell them say Andrew Old, you know why Andrew Old has have 9 account? Him have 28 bank account because in 3 trillion that join them are join up all of the different issues them where them put out there, you know. Him have 28 bank account because in $3 trillion and him have to put in enough bank account. That Angela Brownberg can walk around and talk.
Exactly. All right.
I will understand
all these social. Well, I'm not protecting all these social benefits that would have explained, where Chuck would have explained, and we here, you know, are trying to put out there right now. Apart from we, the Prime Minister, right, and Chuck giving those detailed explanation, who else is carrying the party's message? Who else? If you don't get it here, I don't get it from the Prime Minister. Where else you get it? Who else is carrying the party's message? And that's the problem.
No, yes. So Senator.
May I ask you, gentlemen, a few questions?
Yeah, so Senator, what's his name again? Marlon Morgan. I'm tired, you know. He has a radio station, News Star. It airs between, I think it's Tuesday to Thursday, right? Jamaicans can call in between 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock and you speak on issues, and it also deliver the party's message. Let me see if I can put it up on my display. Give me a second.
What you bringing up, Winner? This has been a fantastic afternoon. I must tell you the truth. Yes. I think that I think that someone from the PNP.
I don't know if you can bring that up, neighbor, on the big screen.
Is listening to us, you know, sir. I understand that a couple of the senators from the party is listening. Wow.
Just bring it up on the screen for me, please, neighbor.
Yeah, you want me to do what?
Bring up this picture on the big screen. That is Senator Marlon Morgan. He delivers the party's message. That's what, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think that's from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. It's straight up talk. And it's News Talk 93 FM. You can go on the internet, you can look that up, and you can call in. I do call in from time to time. Lashika, Renz, Goody, Chuck, Chops. We call in and we talk about pressing issues and also government policies and programs that exist. So Jamaicans can tune in and call to share your 2 cents. Even if there is something that the government is doing and you don't agree with, call. Let the government know, because sometimes we have these issues and we don't talk about it. Oh, government not do this, but if we don't talk, government don't know. And we have a very reactive government. That when the masses or the people say, government, how will you not do this? I know we have a prime minister we always look into the issues. He's a man who stop and talk to every single person on the street. Don't care where you're in whether you're in a rags or whether you're well dressed in a 3-piece suit. He might go talk to you and hear your issues. So we can also vent some of these issues on this program, gentle people.
All right, so that's straight up with Marlon Morgan on News Talk 93 FM, 9 to 12, Wednesdays and Thursdays in Jamaica. Of course, let's.
So neighbor, majority, the people in where that work, the people in where that bush, then on a radio. Where when they come in the evening, the PNP, MP or caretaker, they on the veranda ready to talk to them. Listen to me. I'm not about to tell on radio here.
Jamaica girl?
Like, not radio alone. We have to find a way to get the message to them, deliver it.
Good afternoon.
Tuning.
I would agree.
Good afternoon. You have 20 minutes, Jamaica girl.
Let us not be worried too much. I'm not going to be totally bananas. We have a prime minister that has been in politics. Mark Golden saying he don't know nothing else but politics, and that is very good. You want somebody that knows politics to operate policies for your country, no? You want somebody that is really invested, somebody who knows how to perform politics in order to make our lives better. And that is why I'm a better candidate. That is why he's doing the things that he's doing. And he's no fool. He understands that the battle for the minds is going to be this election, and he's not plan to lose. And therefore, I think something big is coming, people. I think this campaign is going to be something that we have never seen before in terms of how messaging is delivered, how campaign is delivered. The Prime Minister does start and look at the crowd and the masses are following behind him already. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah. Well,
Mr. Dawson had joined us. Can we just take a word from Ian Dawson?
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
I am well. You?
Yeah, I'm good. Listening, you know.
Beautiful. You wanted to contribute something to the discussion?
Yeah, you see the people, you know, a lot of people sad to say, you know, we're not really that educated. So we just follow along like the Pied Piper, you know. We just follow. We know. You know? But it's not too late to go back to school, you know? And to grasp even the least. So that we can chart our own future. Because I've never seen so much done in my entire life by one prime minister. And yet still you have to keep a propaganda, this 3 card, you know, and it drive a lot of people, you know. As Bob Marley would have said, we never know we never know ourselves until we're back against the wall. It's like we not gonna know until we do. We foolishly vote for Mark Golding, and then when we see the whole structure we build just take time and erase, you know, how we gone back at ground zero, and we notice. Then we're gonna notice for 50 years, for the next 50 years, and for the next 50 years, we just keep going backward, you know. You know, when we look at a lot of things, what this prime minister would have tried to do, and you know, me don't know everything. So you know, me try to learn according as we go along. Me see where prime minister try to go. Prime minister try to go in where you call it, just like how America go where you call it again.
You mean the Republic?
Republic. The prime minister try to go republic. More than like it, if you be elaborate pan.
It's not. You know.
Yeah.
The country wants
the country. Yeah.
Wants to move from the British totally by standing our own 2 feet. As a republic rather than what we have now.
Right. And it make me think, you see, Chuck? Me wonder what make we can't come together upon that as a people. You know, if it ever do with more bad than good. Because when you look at
the number one reason, it's pure politics. Is that the PNP presently don't want to give the Labour Party that victory, so they're gonna do their best to fight it. And now, should the PNP form government, God forbid, then the Jamaica Labour Party is gonna do the same. We're not gonna give you something that you just fight us out of. That is where we are now. I am almost sure that the kind of opposition that Andrew did when he was in opposition in 2012, 2014 was what he deemed was being responsible in opposition. That's the stance he took. Right? He will do what is good for, he has done what is good for the Jamaican people when he's on the other side. I would go as far to say care zero about the Jamaican people. They care about their party. And they will do nothing that is not good for their party. Because for them, it's their party first, and then the country somewhere down the road.
Anything is good for Jamaica, Chuck, is bad for them parties. So they are against anything that is good for Jamaica.
So we supposed to throw out forums and teach people the good way that when bring to it. Because we have a governor general who are getting so much money a year. Doing what? Why we can't continue if you go down this path?
Many of these benefits, these social benefits that would have spoken about on the live, needs to be discussed at town hall meetings, you know? In the bars,
right?
In the barber shops, and the hairdressing salon. Exactly. Whenever you have a gathering, if you even have a 6-a-side competition, you have a segment where these things are explained. Meet the people with information, deliver it to them wherever they are. Not rely on them to tune in only to station. Not rely on them only to tune in to a live when it's going on, right? Not only to rely on that. I notice I say not only means that we don't discontinue doing what we're doing, but you know we need to add different forums
But
right? Use different strategies to get the information to them. Get it to the doorstep, because that's what the opponents are doing that.
So sometimes we have town hall meetings. I just see the amount of people who turn up. Where there are a lot of decisions are made in the town hall meetings, because you have a town and planning meeting, and you don't have 12 people turn up. While of them decide the town planning and the whole community or the one scene and a lot of things.
Political rallies. If you need printed information, you can't just say nobody now read. Some people will. And those who read will tell others, right? Who refuse to read or can't read.
They say if you want hide things from, we put it in a book.
Well, me not subscribe to that, Some people will read, not everybody, yes. And you can't make things too wordy for people because they're going to be turned off.
But Foresight, what about the people who are disconnected or disjointed over the years in their 30s and their 40s who believe they're doing so well, for some of them that they don't need anything from the government, or for some who...
No, those are the ones that need to be taught and need to be told that, look here, one government policy, bad government policy can wipe out all the benefits that they are enjoying. They need to understand the importance of politics and the extent to which politics and policies impact their lives. Those are the ones that know better. They feel independent of the system and they feel like, I've reached now and I'm above politics.
But
where I go from here will depend on what I do. It is rubbish.
The thing is, have you ever, as a child, have you ever enjoyed a seesaw?
Okay.
Have you ever been on a seesaw?
Yeah, pressure for pressure.
It takes two persons to balance. What happened when the other one jump off? You move from the air, you come crashing down to the ground. The point is that it's the communication of what. Let me first say this: if the opposition weren't doing what they're doing now, there would be less unrest in the country as it relates to what is happening. And the truth, it is them that is
I choose, just beg you a minute to interject. Connecting the dots, we have or had about 6 persons waiting. I've accepted persons in the box in order of how the request has popped up. You are the second to last person that has sent a request. Nobody has been restricting your comments. TikTok has guidelines of words or whatever that are accepted. And sometimes everybody comments will be restricted based on what you type. I choose, you can go ahead and finish, and then we'll take a word from common sense.
Yeah, and I can come down after that. But as it relates to what the government is doing, if the opposition would have just be truthful and find another way to come to the Jamaican people by being truthful about what is happening and support what is happening, then Jamaica would not have reached this place where people are confused and going ballistic and disjointed about what is happening. This is just their strategy to win an election, when the truth is all it needs is a competitive plan that is so good that Jamaicans would have had second thought, regardless of their track record in the past. Jamaicans haven't totally given up on the PNP, but in their minds, they're bombarded with what they see is happening with this government, the performance, and therefore they are of the opinion that they can't use any other strategy to win. But
thank you so much, sir. We are running out of time.
Yeah,
and
so that's my thing there. So I'm gonna come down now. So
yes.
you can
come back here. I choose because I know you have some valid points.
Yeah.
You must come back here.
So that's where is the foresight?
No, I say I must come back. You have to come back. Just tune into the program and look for it and come back here.
Labour, may I go jump?
All right,
jump
no
and
problem.
make the space.
You're protecting. Thank you for today. You hear, sir?
Yes, good.
Yeah, man, hold on there before I go. As I was listening to I Choose just now, you see, the PMP is backed between a rock and a hard place, you know.
You can't take me down, neighbor.
How do you counter the truth? Can you counter the truth with that truth? Can you counter good with good?
And I suspect that as we go forward in this election protecting, you see, it is people like yourself. You talk about accolades, but it is people like yourself. What I think I realize now is that we are really a largely undereducated society. Undereducated, I say. We're not calling people dogs. Yeah. But we haven't invested sufficient in developing our people so that they understand the different areas of life and are able to make the connections. You know, even educated people are not logical necessarily, you know, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they may have a degree, but you'll be surprised to know how they think.
That's
very illogical.
They're not immune.
They're not able to reason things out
You're right. I agree with your neighbor. That is very true. Even educated persons are not immune to the conditioning that we see before some of our people. So I agree with you.
I think protecting that history that you started out with this morning, in terms of helping people to understand why they should choose another party or the other, something that we need to explore maybe tomorrow.
And it is something I always do, neighbor. I do not just respond to something without drawing to the history of the very thing to establish the context in which I'm responding. Because what is happening now, you know, neighbor, which is going to give the Jamaica Labour Party the win. My only problem is that if they were to only do the ground, it would have been so much clearer. It would have been so much clearer because we're at a point in the nation's history where, for the very first time, you have a party who haven't yet begun to campaign.
Yeah. Are you holding to your projection of the Labour Party winning over 49 seats? You holding to that?
53 seats. Yeah, 53.
And you are holding to that, protecting Jamaica?
Yes, I hold to that until the night of the when election is done. Then everybody we can dissect, and then I can concede that based on what I was looking at, I was wrong. But I'm looking at 53 seats still.
Yes. I really admire this morning's that history you give in terms of the economic performance of the government, because you know that Bruce Golding period protecting, I think Jamaicans have not appreciated how well that government did.
It was a foundation period. One of the things that Bruce Golding did, just let me jump to it quickly before I go. What happened to the PMP between 2012 to 2016, you know, is what Bruce Golding did from 2017 to 2012, you know.
Yeah, lay the foundation.
Bruce Golding created a kind of open government. So no longer was the PMP able to do skullduggery or perform badly, and it was hidden, swept under the carpet. It was sort of an open government, PAC, you know, a whole lot of different governmental structural or governance structures were changed. Bruce Golding came with some meaningful policies, but because I know policy where I give somebody $1,000 in them pocket or $50 over there, so people.
One of them protecting was when he made it mandatory that certain committees of parliament must be chaired by the opposition.
Yes, very important.
Yeah, it is the same thing protecting that when this Holness administration is being judged, you must discuss the COVID period.
Never. And I believe that the campaign that the JLP are preparing will put that forward very forcefully. Of 9 years, with a disaster taking out 2.5 years at least out of that 9 years, performing so well. But when you hear people in some quarters who speak, especially as we made mention of the educated look a while, while we have some educated dunces, you know, we still have some educated, dishonest people, you know. We still have the
that is the greater point. It's honest.
Yes, they are intellectually dishonest
They
people.
know better than what they must say.
Yes,
It's
they
true.
know better.
And you know, protected. They are partly responsible for the spreading of the misinformation. You know.
Yes, because
you know how many people protect him. Hold on to the words of so-called intellectuals to say if that man say it, I must be true because him right.
Because they have influence in the society.
Yes.
And if you notice a strategy that I use, I name bomb people. Me call people name and me tell what their antecedents are and what position they're speaking from. And they don't like that. They don't like to be shown up. They don't like to be highlighted. And I do that deliberately so that when the information is being shared, people can take that information, understanding the background of who is sharing the information. Because if you know that the information is coming from a PMP, then you will understand why the information is along a particular line.
Wow. But you know something? I'm looking here at all the lives across Jamaica on my screen. And this program is doing well, you know, sir. The Prime Minister is actually live right now. He is on a road tour. Apart from the Prime Minister foresight, there's no that is beating us. Go ahead.
That's good.
We should make use of the people who are here to listen, and we should let them understand that it is fear mongering that the PMP is trying to use. It is a strategy used in the United States and in some other countries. Fear mongering. They're trying to tell the people of Jamaica that what is good for them is bad for them. They are trying to tell the people of Jamaica that what you're seeing with your own eyes, a matter of fact, what is happening to the PMP? I think there is currently an implosion happening because they have tried this strategy for about 2 years up to this point, but they realize it's not working because they have pivoted now to say that what Andrew is doing, we did do it or did for we plan, because they realize that people are crediting this for the things that are
not happening.
Right. So they are trying to say,
to believe only the bad that they hear.
You see me go so far back, neighbor, to 1963, when the entire developmental plan for Jamaica was done by Edward Seaga. Michael Manley used Seaga's development plan, anything he did. PJ Patterson used Seaga's development plan. Did you know that under the comprehensive national infrastructure plan that Edward Seaga did, 1963 to 1967, did you know that a sensible 4-lane road was on St. Thomas, straight through to Portland?
Didn't know that at all.
Okay. Did you know that the highway where Andrew cut from Williamsfield go straight to St. Elizabeth? Did you know that that was?
I knew that, yes.
Okay. Did you know that there's a highway cut to Montego Bay?
No.
It is on the master plan for national infrastructure. The national master plan for infrastructure Seaga developed. Everything is there. So what the PMP managed to do over the years, anything them could have get financing for, them just go to the plan and pick out one little thing. Did you know that across the island in all, well, 14 parish now, but in all 14 parishes at the time, a modern center would have been built or was planned to be built? Did you know that an urban center, town center, was on the master plan to be built?
Just like it's happening in St. Thomas, like it's happening in Portland.
We have to go back to the history so we can help people understand that the PMP are claiming things that they have
no clue,
nothing to do with and no clue about.
Guys, remember